Thank you. As you know, NTA celebrates 60 years this year, and that's 60 years of serving you and the members in the industry. And you don't just stumble through 60 years to achieve the success that this organization has achieved. Helping guide NTA for many of those years was a very special man. And I don't know if this is, I'm going to ask him because he's going to come out here, we're going to sit in these chairs, and I'm going to interview him like I do. That's my job, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. But I heard that his introduction to NTA was at a convention in 1973 where nobody really knew who he was. But somebody was at the podium and the crowd was being really boisterous, and he just took over the podium and started pounding and said, "Everybody be quiet. If you're not going to be quiet, then go home." And everybody got deathly quiet. And from then on, for the next 20 years, he was one of the people that really guided NTA and helped make it what it is. So please join me in welcoming Jim Host. Thank you. Was it true?
First, you're wrong.
Well, I am
It was
a reporter.
1975.
1975. What did I say?
You said 73.
Oh, okay.
And it was 30 years, not 20.
30 years you ran the group?
Yes.
30 years in
Yes.
charge of this whole group?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I had a couple people who worked for, you basically ran NTA behind the scenes. Your picture never appeared in any of the literature or anything. Nobody really knew who you were unless you worked for NTA, and then they really knew who you were, right?
They knew who I was.
They knew. I did a little research. These are just some of the terms people use to describe you. You tell me if I got any of these wrong. Blunt, demanding, gruff, drive your employees insane. All true?
So far.
So what, how did it come, well, let's go back even further than that. What did you start out wanting to be? Did you always dream of running an organization like NTA, or?
Had no clue.
No clue.
I started my company I ran for Lieutenant Governor of Kentucky in 1971, got beat, fortunately. And
fortunately, did you say?
Had $107 in my pocket. Well, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, but I had $107 in my pocket. Had no job, went in to get a haircut, sat in the barber's chair, and the barber said, "I bet you need some help," and boy, do I ever. I owed $76,887 from the campaign. Again, had no income. Had 2 car payments, a house payment, and sat in the barber's chair. He said, "Why don't you take this office upstairs and do it free for a month."
To start a business?
To start a business, and said, "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." And so I got a call within a week from the Lexington Tourist and Convention Commission, and they said, "We'd like to hire you to be the executive director of the Tourist and Convention Commission because we passed a 3% room tax." And I said, "How much does it pay?" And they said $18,000 a year. And I said, "Do I get a car?" "Yep." "Do I get a secretary?" "Yep." "Do I get an office?" "Yep." "You can hire my company."
What was you had a company?
I didn't have one then.
Oh, you didn't?
No. I said, "You can hire my company. You can pay me a retainer of $1,500 a month. I'll furnish the office space. I'll furnish the secretarial help. I'll furnish everything else." And that's how I started.
Wow.
And the very first meeting that I went to was the NTBA board meeting, which happened to be at the old Phoenix Hotel in Lexington. And they asked me if I knew anything about what a tour broker was. I said, "I don't have a clue." And they said, "Well, we want you to get involved in helping run the association." I'm fast forwarding this because that's not exactly how it happened. And
it just seems like you faked your way through pretty much the entire process.
Been doing it all my life.
Did your company ever get a name?
Yeah, I went to the bank because I owed the banker, as I said, $76,877, $75,000 plus interest. And he said, I walked in and he said, I know how much you owe me. And I said, Jake, I've got my first $1,500 retainer. He said, from what? I said, the company I'm going to form. What's the name of it? Jim Host and Associates. I didn't have any associates.
You had no associates?
No
You're Jim Host and
no.
Associates.
And that's how it started. And from the Lexington Tourist and Convention Bureau came the opportunity to run NTBA. They had a part-time executive director in Washington by the name of Reed Price, who they were paying $10,000 a year. He was an organist full-time, and he was a part-time executive director. The association had 72 active members who were tour operators, tour brokers, and 90 allied members, and a budget of $97,000. And I said, well, I can do that. And they said, so they sent 3 past presidents, George Talmadge, Arthur Tauk, and Mary Lee, to negotiate with me. The president then was a fellow by the name of Joe Kasser of Kasser Tours of New York. And so we met at Pittsburgh Airport, and I said, I'll do this for $25,000, and I'll furnish the office space, I'll furnish the office space, I'll furnish the secretarial help, I'll furnish everything. Full retainer of $25,000 a year, and Joe Kasser negotiated it to $19,000. So the very first retainer to run this association was $19,000 a year with the staff, and we went to the first convention, which was in San Diego in 1975. We had 400 people who showed up. The previous attendance had been 200. We introduced the tour and travel exchange called then the Marketplace, which was computerized, first computerized marketplace in the country of exchange, which you have today. And there were 2 staff people. I only had 1 employee then. And that's how the company started, and that's how the association started.
And I understand working for you. Just to give people an idea what it was like to work for you, and you correct me if I'm wrong again, but women couldn't wear skirts?
Never said that.
Oh, really?
No.
Sandals? Could they wear sandals?
Well, they couldn't wear sandals.
Why?
I just felt like they needed to be properly dressed.
Okay. And you couldn't back your car into a parking space?
No, because I can't back up, and I didn't expect anybody else to.
And also, and is it true that you would stand in the lobby and just wait for people who were late for work?
No.
I heard that from multiple people.
I would stand on the 3rd floor at my window when we moved in the office building.
Okay.
And I always got there. I get up every morning at 4 o'clock. I've never set an alarm in my life, so I was always the first one in the office, and I would always park the furthest away from the office. So I knew that as people came in, the last one in would always park closest.
Ah.
And so I knew who was getting there late. I knew who was getting there early, but also would look out the window every once in a while and see people coming in at 5 or 10 after 8. Then I'd go downstairs and meet them.
Wow. I don't want to be at the other end of that. But what's interesting is, you know, you obviously helped turn this organization. I mean, look at, all the people from
Look, let me make one thing clear. The people who built this association are the volunteers. The people who built this association are the past presidents. The people who built this association are those that are sitting out here. This is the greatest family of travel and tourism that exists in this country because of the family and the volunteers.
But you had something to do with it. Or am I talking to the wrong guy here?
I provided a little bit of direction,
Okay.
and every once in a while a little bit of discipline.
Okay. And you ran the staff.
Yes, I did.
Now, why is it that I hear all these things, you know, gruff, you know, so hard to work for, but everybody I talk to loves you and loved working for you in the end? How are you able to be such a tough boss, but still so liked and admired?
The one thing that I've done all my life is to treat people fairly. The second thing is I don't expect anybody to work any harder than I do. The third is set the proper example and expect people to follow the example. And there were some people that worked with me, nobody worked for me, with me, that found out that they couldn't follow that example, and they didn't last. But people who lasted, who understood what it meant, and understood what it meant for excellence. I want the absolute 100% excellence of everything that happens with this group and everything that happens with anything I touch. And that's what you have to drive hard. You have to teach. You have to teach by example. And that's why this group is that's why it is what it is.
That's great. You're also really known as a man of integrity, but now I know of actually 2 lies you've told. Jim Host and Associates, there were no associates. 2, your wife's in the audience here, right?
Yep,
somewhere?
she's right over there.
Can we get a shot of her real quick? Pat, can you stand up? I just want everybody to see. Okay. Now, if you take a look at her, you've been known to lie about, you actually tell people she's 72 years old.
She is.
No.
Well,
there's no way that woman is 72 years old.
Let me tell you what, I have won more wagers over this. We'll go up and sit at a bar, the 2 of us. We have a special place that we go. And we'll sit at a bar, and she'll end up going to the restroom. And I'll say to the bartender, do you know how old she is? If you can come within 10 years of her age, then by golly, you're going to get a double. In other words, if this is $10, you're going to get $20, and you can keep it. But if you lose, you owe me a drink. And they all pick it. I said, write it on a piece of paper. And when she comes back out, look at her again. If you change your mind, write it again on a piece of paper. Then I always pull out her driver's license.
You carry her driver's license?
I carry her driver's license. And I have it in my pocket. And right here it is.
Is this her actual? What if she gets pulled over?
This is her driver's license.
It's a copy of it. Okay.
This is a copy of it. This is her picture. I said, now, are you sure that you want to make this bet? Yes, sir. Then I turn it over. It's 11/17/39. She is 72
amazing.
years old.
That's amazing.
And she's the greatest woman who ever lived. She's the greatest person that ever lived, I can tell you.
I feel bad because, you know, I researched a lot about you. You've done so many amazing things with your life, not just with NTA, but with everything else. I wish we had more time to go into all that. But there is one last thing I do want to ask you. When I came here last year, I felt like a bond with this group and with the people I met. Now, I don't really know any better because I don't talk to any other associations, so they could all be like this. I don't know. You know, my son, all he'll eat is vanilla ice cream. He doesn't know any of the other flavors. He loves vanilla ice cream, thinks it's the greatest thing, but if he tried chocolate, maybe he'd like it more. So the point I'm making is this group, what is it about this group? First of all, you know other associations. Is this a special group, or is it just me?
Last night, we had a reunion of people who helped start it, helped build it. I was with Ruth McKinney. I remember her father, Senator Henry Watkins, the first person I met when I came to the convention in '75, the first one I was involved in. Lois Anderson, who sat in the front row, who's a past president. Talk about people who care. Talk about people who have passion for this group. And this group is so well knit. And the thing all of you 345 first-timers need to understand, you're part of a family. You're part of a group that will take care of you. You're part of a group you can exchange business ideas with. You're part of an exchange of thought processes. You will not be forgotten. You will not be forgotten by the leadership, by the staff, by anybody now that you're part of this family. That's what makes it different. This is a family of great volunteers.
And you don't have to say that anymore. You're not employed anymore. You could lie about that too.
Why would I ever do that? This is such a, I tell you, just to come back to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in years, to reacquaint myself with people that were such a special part of my life. This association probably, at the end of the day, with people that are around all these tables, these past presidents, people, this has been such a unique and different and total part of my life that I can never repay this association for what it meant to me and has meant to my family.
So you're talking from the heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jim Host.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
NTA is the leading association for professionals serving travelers to, from, and within North America. But it's not about what NTA is, but who.
I'm Alan with Main Street Tours.
I am Benjamin Eastman from the San Diego Convention and
My
Visitors
name is
Bureau.
Alexis Lustbader, and I'm with AT&T Park, home of the San Francisco Giants.
I am JP Dancero. I'm with Fontenelle Mansion and Farm.
Bonjour, I'm Stéphane Fauché from Sucrerie de la Montagne.
Hi, my name is John Schaefer from Luray Cavern.
I'm John Meyer with the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority.
I am Jeannie Priol.
I'm Larry Larson with Adventures.
I am NTA.
I am NTA.
I am NTA.
And I am NTA.
I am NTA.
I am NTA.
Hello, I'm Randy Axelson with the Silver Reef Hotel Casino and Spa in Washington State.
My name is Carrie Furtado. I'm with the Providence Warwick CVB.
I'm Clayton Whitehead with Sports Leisure Vacation.
I'm Jorge Casanave from Casanave, Argentina.
I am Emmanuel. I'm from Tejanova, Brazil.
I am Jennifer Slensker with Agri Travel Services out of Denver, Colorado.
I am Phyllis Veal from the Grand Vista Hotel in Grand Junction, Colorado.
And I am NTA.
I am NTA.
I am NTA.
And I am NTA.
And I am NTA.
I'm Jim Reddycop with Earthbound Tours.
And I'm Sydney Crow with the Ramada Inn Suites in Canmore, Alberta, Canada.
Ode Marwa, India. Ode Tours and Travel.
Hi, I'm Kate Simpson with Academic Travel Abroad.
My name is Russ Rosenberry.
I am Santiago Garcia-Dils from the Seville Tourism Board.
And I am NTA.
I am NTA.
I am NTA.
And I'm NTA.
And I am NTA.
We are NTA!
Woo! NTA is people. NTA is you. You belong at NTA.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your NTA Chairman and CEO, Kathy Gredeman.
Well, hello everyone. Wasn't that great? I love watching that video. It's almost patriotic to me. I love those happy faces, those confident voices. You, all of you, are NTA. Speaking of valued professionals, we have two more this afternoon that we would really like to honor. The Pioneer Award honors individuals whose accomplishments have resulted in a significant change in the travel industry, a change from which NTA and its members have benefited. The Pioneer Award nominees do not have to be NTA members, but this year's most definitely is. Bruce Beckham, CTP, is the Executive Director and CEO of Tourism Cares, the travel industry's premier nonprofit organization and NTA's official philanthropy. Before Tourism Cares started caring, Bruce owned a travel agency and tour company. He was an active member of NTA, attending his first convention in St. Augustine in 1972. In 1982, Bruce became NTA's youngest president. True then and still today, and I thought maybe I could take a run for the record, but not a chance. After selling his travel companies nearly 20 years ago, Bruce worked as a consultant and educator in the travel industry. A longtime advocate of the CT program, Bruce was for several years the sole instructor of CTP seminars at NTA conventions. Then in 2000, Bruce entered the nonprofit world. What started as a part-time job heading up the Travel Conservation Foundation became a full-time devotion to leading a new organization called Tourism Cares, and care they do. Under Bruce's guidance, Tourism Cares volunteers have provided more than 26,000 hours of labor, working to preserve and protect treasure sites such as Ellis Island, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Virginia City, Nevada, Mystic, Connecticut, and San Francisco's Angel Island and Alcatraz Island. With NTA's suggestion, Bruce and Tourism Cares launched the Save Our Sites program, and this helps our own clients give back. Grants are also part of Bruce's Tourism Cares legacy, with hundreds and thousands of dollars going to natural, cultural, and historic sites throughout the world each year. And $100,000 worth of scholarships are awarded each year to students preparing for careers in the travel and tourism industry. In leadership, education, and philanthropy, Bruce Beckham is a remarkable role model and an industry pioneer, unquestionably worthy of NTA's Pioneer Award. And I personally could not be happier to present it to him. Please welcome our Pioneer Award winner, Mr. Bruce Beckham. Bruce.
Wow. I didn't realize they did all that stuff, but anyway. You know, when I heard about the Pioneer Award and receiving this, the first thing I thought about was, what do you wear if you're a pioneer? And I forgot my raccoon hat, and my Star Trek costume doesn't fit anymore, so. But seriously, I'm really, really humbled by this. Thank you so much, NTA, for this great honor. I'm in such great company. You have your name in the same sentence as Kirk Lanneman from Holland America Line and Chuck West, who basically opened up Alaska to tourism. It's unbelievable. They probably say, who? But anyway, so I started thinking, what does it take to be a pioneer? And, oh, by the way, I hope that this isn't one of those situations where if I go on too long, the music starts to play. So anyway, but, you know, how do you get to be a pioneer? And I guess... All right. Give me a couple of minutes anyway. I think basically you become a pioneer if you make the right choices, and that's what I've tried to do all my life. And you make the choices like the friends that you make, because you're judged by the company you keep. I guess they call it nowadays street cred, but whatever. Back in 1972, I chose NTA for my circle of friends. You guys are the best friends that a guy could ever have. You've been there every step of the way. You've always been very supportive of anything that I've done or tried to do, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, but you were always there no matter what. You choose the right people. You surround yourself with loyal people who share your passion. There's a table full right over here of people, including a young lady named Lisa Schmeeman, who used to work for me when I was a tour operator, and then that's 30 years ago that she started, and then took a few years off to raise a couple of great kids, but she came back and works now at Tourism Cares, and she's never missed a beat. And all the pioneers need a reliable compass. So when you come to a fork in the road, you know which way to go. My compass in business for almost 40 years has been a guy that you were introduced to today, a guy named Jim Host. Every time I came to the fork in the road, and I wasn't sure which road to take, I'd say, what would Jim Host do? And you know something? I always took the high road, because that's what he always did, and I followed his lead. So thank you, Jim, for that. And go ahead. And last but by no means least, pioneers go home once in a while. And they need someone to go home to, and someone who believes in them and what they do. I read a long time ago that if you want to climb the ladder of success, you have to choose the right spouse. That it's the most important decision you'll ever make in your life. And boy, did I make the right decision. Because when I've gone home for the last 44 years, there's always been Beverly. Sometimes she'd say, what the hell are you doing home? I have a date tonight. No, seriously. Yeah, I hate it when she dates. It's just... No, she's really been, seriously, she's been the secret to success, the wind beneath my wings, the one who understands my passions and encouraged me to pursue them. I often say that the reason I travel is so I have my own identity, because in Boston I'm known as Beverly Beckham's husband, because she's an author and an award-winning newspaper columnist for the Boston Globe. But fortunately, while coping with the pioneer now, in her own career, she's always been there at home when the school bus dropped what's our most important passions, our 3 great kids, when the bus dropped them off, and now they're all grown and making their own decisions and making their own choices. So I guess pioneers aren't born, they're created by other people. I'm just a lucky guy who's made some very, very lucky choices. So thank you for this honor that I share with all of you, because you're the other people that made it so.
Bruce, you're wonderful. Thank you so much for your years of contribution to the industry and to Tourism Cares and to NTA. We so appreciate that. Now I also have the privilege of presenting the Bob Everidge Lifetime Achievement Award, which recognizes individuals who've made outstanding, ongoing contributions to NTA and to its members. Mikey Wall has NTA's roots that run deep, and I hear you ready to applaud, so go right on ahead, because for more than 20 years, she worked as a tour operator with her Aunt Fannie Wall Moore, owner of Moore Tours in Charlotte, North Carolina. Moore Tours was one of the original 12 founding members of the National Tour Brokers Association, which later became the National Tour Association. Past President Pete Anderson said this: Mikey has served on probably every NTA committee there ever was, and she rose through the chairs to become NTA president in 1986. I have it on good authority that many of the chairs she filled on the NTA table, her favorite was working on the Convention Resource Center year after year, helping first-time attendees learn how to get the most out of their convention experience. So many of you know her. After leaving the tour operations side of the business, Mikey forged a second career on the DMO side. First with Charlotte, then with the state of North Carolina, now with the Wilmington, Cape Fear Coast Convention and Visitors Bureau as Vice President of Sales and Service. Mikey served on the NTA Board of Directors for 10 years. She was appointed to serve as the DMO representative on the executive committee by Bob Everidge himself. Teresa Krieg, a former NTA board member, said, Mikey's smile and genuine care for others is the key to her personality, and her knowledge of the industry in general, and NTA in specific, cannot be duplicated. It's not only her understanding of NTA, but it's how she's committed to it, Teresa said. We're a much better association because she served. It's because she has served so selflessly and so effectively that we now honor her today. So please come up, Mikey, and receive an award and the applause of your peers that you so richly deserve.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm most appreciative of this award, but especially because it's the Bob Everidge Award. Many of you have not had the opportunity, did not have the opportunity to know him, but he was so down to earth, so smart, so full of humor, so full of kindness and gentleness, that there's no award that I would rather receive than one named after Bob. So thank you for that. And I also am learning slowly about how many people nominated me, and I want to thank all of you, because I don't know who all of you are, for doing that, because I'm very grateful. Also, I have some friends and family here, and I want to say thank you for these special friends who just said, I want to come too. They just flew out here, including my boss, when I told her, she said, I don't have it in the budget, but I'll find it. I'm coming. So thank you, Kim. Taking pictures out here. When I moved to the Wilmington Cape Fear Coast Convention and Visitors Bureau, I not only got a beautiful boss, but I got a very caring and great boss. So come on down to see us. But thank you all. And I have to tell you, if you're not real involved in NTA, I've been involved in it since dirt was first invented. And I've learned that going through NTA is like getting a doctorate on a scholarship. So start working on your scholarship. There were two people who were very influential in my education coming through NTA, and one was my Aunt Fanny that you heard mentioned, who was one of the 12 founders of this association. And the other was a name you've heard a lot today, Jim Host. But I want to tell you, Steve, you left out a couple of adjectives. I used to jokingly call him the Fuhrer, and he'd say, don't call me that. But he really got this group on the right direction, and it took some discipline and starting things on time and ending things on time. So, you know, you're well loved by all of us. But the other thing I wanted to tell you is that NTA made a big mistake today. You see, I don't have a speech. They didn't tell me how long I could talk. But I am going to quit and say thank you very much. But I have to tell you first that in Lifetime Achievements, I was thinking about why did I get this award? And I was thinking about some things I achieved that I'm absolutely sure none of you have ever achieved. One of those was at my first board meeting when I was first elected, when I was still wet behind the ears. I wanted to prove to people, you know, that I could do a good job and I was worthy of getting elected. Didn't know a lot of the board members very well, and halfway through dinner I realized I had my dress on backwards. So that was a real achievement in my life, but it didn't quit there. They mentioned that I used to teach the first-time delegates, and one day I was up there and I said, now the first thing you do is exchange business clothes, and I'm like, something doesn't sound right about that, and I'm like, let me change that to exchange business cards. So the other thing I did that was goofy, when Bob appointed me to be on the executive council as a DMO, I was headed to Germany for a sales mission and then to Lexington for a board meeting. Got up early, did some work, got to work, answered the phone, said, I need to get some water. And I thought, it's really cool in here today. It was January. And I looked down and went, where's my skirt? I forgot to wear my skirt to work. So if you want some goals to reach for, just remember it's okay to be a little goofy. You'll still get there. Thank you very much.
That's all, folks. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.